Hello there, tarot lovers, and happy full moon. We're going to do a full moon reading today with 3 cards. Slightly different format that I made up with the 3 cards representing the Earth, Moon, and Sun that are all in alignment today. And well, we'll get straight right into it. I've laid the cards out, so I'm ready to pick 3 cards for today's reading, and we'll take a look at the 3 different cards and how they connect with each other.
Okay, so we're going to draw 3 cards. It just occurred to me that, because it's the full moon and this is the time when the moon, the sun and the earth get into a certain alignment, that it would be good to draw 3 cards representing each of these heavenly bodies and what they represent inside of ourselves as well. So I'm going to call upon our guides, call upon the wisdom of the tarot to guide us, and we're going to ask for guidance for the first card being representing the earth, which is going to be the general guidance for the next phase of our lives. Maybe until the new moon when we'll do another small reading. It could be for this whole month on some level. It could be this whole phase of your life, depending upon whether we tune in. You can take this reading for whatever time period you feel suits you and feels right for you. We're asking for guidance. And this is the card for the earth, judgment. Wow, major arcana card. Interesting. Okay, so now we're going to ask for the moon. Now the moon, because it represents the nighttime and the feminine and the subconscious, is going to represent the hidden aspects of ourselves in this upcoming journey, and it's going to represent, we're going to ask to shed a little bit of light to the shadow, to that which is normally occult in us, in our unconscious patterns, in anything that we need to see, anything that we need guidance as far as this more subconscious level of ourselves in this upcoming journey, so that we can gain clarity of the darker stories that might come up. And this is the card for the moon. Okay. And we're going to then ask for a card for the sun. Sun represents this divine light and the gifts and the higher vibrational focus that we need in our path. It's going to guide us to find greater integrity and clarity. And we ask for a card for the sun. And this is the sun card. That's an interesting card to get for the sun. Okay, let's take a look at these 3 cards then.
Great. So now we're back and we've got these 3. Okay. So we have these 3 cards, and let's take a look at them one by one to begin with. Just have a look at their meanings, so you can get to know the cards if you don't understand them, or if you're new to the tarot. So the first card was this Judgment card. So if you have a look at the Judgment card, there's this angelic figure blowing a trumpet, 7 notes coming out of the trumpet, as if she was calling, if you like, the figures that seem to be coming out of these boxes, which are actually coffins floating upon the sea of universal consciousness. There's another 3 figures in the background. They're all naked, representing this purity, this complete honesty, and this transparency, not hiding or holding anything back. These 3 figures are, the family figures of the mother, the father, and the son, who represent this kind of like this family constellation inside of us, which represents this inner mother, inner father, and inner child inside of us, that are all waking up, hearing the calling of the angel, which represents this higher call inside of us. It represents the call for waking up into a different level of consciousness. So this is a card that is called the Judgment card, which is sometimes in other decks called Resurrection. So this is like a resurrection. It's like a rebirth. This is the rebirth, which has a precedent of a death. So we need to understand that this card talks about dying and being born again. It's a huge transformation. It's not just a small transformation in your life. This is a card we might bump into several different times in our life, but it's a big transformation. It's a transformation that is calling for a part of you to die, to literally be let go of you to have an expansion or a leveling up of awareness, which will be experienced quite consciously, and it's like a super conscious awareness. It's not just a little epiphany. Oh yeah, no, this is like a massive epiphany or a big realization of self. It's calling for big change in our lives. It's calling for the potential and the possibility of a deeper level of self-realization, where we're living our life more in tune with our core values, when we're holding in our life a deeper level of integrity, where we're listening to our heart more, where we're hearing the spirit and hearing our call to our spiritual mission with more clarity. This is what this card is all about. Those the three figures are three different aspects of ourself, which you can imagine as being the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious, all coming into a line, all saying, yes, okay, I'm ready for the new stage, for the new level. Where can I go? I accept. I'm sitting in faith and trust that everything's going to be all right. You have to have that faith and trust in order to die and let go. And that's what this card represents. It's the deeper transformation where we're not holding on to the past. We're really ready to take a leap and a jump into the future. And then we've got these other two cards, which I related to the moon as being the subconscious pattern and the sun as being the conscious higher guidance that comes. And they're both guidance cards, but this is calling for the awareness of something going on below the surface. So this Five of Cups, the 5 Mars energy, and the Gvura energy of sitting in the suit of cups, which is the suit of emotions and love, and the suit of sensitivity and our feelings. And here we've got these 3 cups which are spilled, 2 cups behind the figure which is cloaked in darkness, a bridge going over a river in the background. The figure is obviously focusing on these 3 cups and pretty much ignoring these 2 standing up cups behind us. This is, the way we focus emotionally on the negativity and the pessimism of having lost something. This is a card of loss. It's a card which signifies sadness, despair, lack of hope. This is the experience of really feeling the negative emotion of of what we might have lost in our life. This might be a job, this might be a person, this might be this might be a relationship that might have disappeared after our life. But this is in the subconscious, so maybe the message here that there's something from the past, or there's some loss that we're holding on to in the past. There's something which is very much going on in our subconscious level, which is maybe something we need to be aware of in order to embrace the transformation that the Judgment card is talking about. So this card, this Spilt Cups, is looking at life in the cup half empty type mentality. It's sitting in the victim. It's being the poor me. And it's really focusing on the negative and hiding yourself. You're cloaking yourself in darkness. You're really, really embracing the shadow here. And it's a card that is a real, hiding and really going inwards, cocooning yourself in this dark emotional state of awareness. And there is a beauty in this card, that there is an importance to feel this grief and to feel this sorrow in life. And it is a beautiful thing, but it's really important to be aware that there's 2 cups of love and compassion behind us, or whatever these 2 cups represent, that cannot be spilled, that are always there. There's always some positivity. We just need to choose to turn around to focus on it, without ignoring or denying that there is something lost here, and the loss is important. But the white bridge in the background represents, hey, there's a journey of getting over something, getting over this river of despair that is flowing through our life at any given time. And then we've got this 3rd card, which is a message from the sun, a message from our spirit, which we might call usually a positive message, which is going to help us in this transformational journey that we're looking to take. And we get this 3 of Swords, which is another card of sorrow and grief and pain in our heart. 3 swords stabbing our heart. Pain. And this is, usually a card of strong despair and disappointment and being and betrayal sometimes. This is a card where the creativity of the 3 swords is piercing our hearts and causing hurt and pain. How can this be a positive message, becomes our question, because this is supposed to be a guiding message. And here, what I found, and this reading is a really important reading for me. It's like, it seems so personal to me in my life right now. I can so relate to all of this. But these 3 swords piercing our heart is, okay, this is a connection of mind and heart, but it's not a very pleasant connection, But this is normally not a very pleasant connection. Normally our intellect, our rational brain, and our conditioning is very much rolling a program of our past which is loaded with inner criticism, is loaded with self-doubt and lack of self-worth. And this is why these belief systems that we might have inherited from our parents and forefathers, these ancestral patterns that we hold, that we are here to heal from, are really, causing the pain and the suffering. The cloudy skies and the rain represent tears and grief that we can cry and allow ourselves to feel this hurt inside. Our normal reaction to pain as children is to run away from it. Whenever we get hurt, avoid it at all costs. This is a reading which is asking us to, hey, don't run away from your pain. Maybe it's important to have a look at it, to take a real good look at those belief systems that are causing us pain. Take a really good look at those core ideas which we're holding inside that come from our own inner critic and our own dark shadow nature, which have taught us to believe in a truth which might not be our truth, and which might be a truth which is really hurting us on a deeper level, but we might not be aware of it. Because our normal reaction to pain is to avoid it and turn away and look in the other direction and not really embrace it, it becomes very difficult to create any proper transformation, because unless we grab that lead, we won't be able to turn it into gold. Unless we hold on to that which is dense and constricting to our life, we can't really understand how to create transformation from it. It's a little bit like, if you want to do a chemical, if you want to create a chemical reaction, if you want to, heat up the crucible with your awareness, you have to put something in it in order to change it into something light and in order to create inner transformation. This is us willingly diving into the shadow, willingly feeling what we normally have an allergy to feel, what we normally reject and run away from, what we normally deny is even there sometimes. So this is a positive message of allowing yourself to feel the grief, allowing yourself to dive into your negative, maybe over pessimistic nature, which makes you feel and focus and sit in this negativity of our emotional 3 cups spilt for way too long, and understand that the importance of diving into this grief and this sorrow, this pain on the inside, this trauma, the importance of these traumatic experiences which we hold from our past and which we need to heal from, is so that we can allow this into our life. It's an enriching experience. It allows us to feel compassionate. It allows us to actually feel the forgiveness of ourselves. It allows us to feel empathy with the whole world that's going through the same types of experiences as we are. But if we ignore them, if we push them away, then we end up, kind of ignoring and pushing away a huge amount of pain and suffering that's in life in general. This just comes back and slaps us in the face, and we don't hear that call from the angel until it gets louder and louder and louder and louder and louder. And until it's going to, hurt us in some way. And then we see our pain again. We get to feel it again and we run away. No, it's time to stop running away. It's time to allow ourselves to cry. It's time to allow ourselves to really feel the pain on the inside, to feel the way our own inner critic is hurting us and really stopping us from having this deeper heart connection. This is the real beauty of when your mind and your heart come together. It might not be a painful realization, but it's an enlightening one. it might be a painful realization, because we see how much we are actually hurting ourselves. But in becoming self-aware in this nature, it's a big realization. It's a big waking up, and this is the big waking up I think the Judgment card is talking to. I think this is a reading very much for me. I hope you get something from it. I can see that it's an energy which is surrounding me in my life right now, and I've been working on this just recently, and I'm super happy to see this Judgment card with its very positive, transformational rebirth coming in, and maybe this is why I'm doing all these videos with the tarot, and I think it's a good thing for me, and I hope it can be a great message for you too. So please don't be afraid to dive into your inner patterns and your inner trauma, because this is part of our healing process. This is part of our waking up. This is part of us stepping into and up-leveling ourselves to a higher level, a higher manifestation of who we can really be. So I hope this is a good message for you, and if so, make a comment down below. It's the way we get to share some of this goodness, if you think it's good anyway. And if you are going through something painful, I wish you the courage and the strength to dive into it and sit in that discomfort for a little bit longer. Allow yourself to be there. Behind this feeling will be a deeper level of compassion for yourself and life. All the best, and I hope you have a great day, a great full moon.